Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to Photosynthesis and Nutrition in Plants, a self-assessment program. Complete the paragraph with appropriate words from the list. A green plant can make all the substances it needs. It builds up carbohydrates by the process of dash. In this process, it combines dash from the dash with dash from the dash to form dash. The dash needed for this process comes from dash, which is absorbed by the dash in the dash of the leaf cells. The waste products of the process is dash. And the list of words we are to choose to fill in include soil, energy, oxygen, glucose, chloroplasts, mineral salts, cells, photosynthesis, air, respiration, sunlight, water, nitrogen, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide. Please pause the video and try to fill in the gaps. The green plant can make all the substances it needs. It builds up carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. In this process, it combines water from the soil with carbon dioxide from the air to form glucose. The energy needed for this process comes from sunlight, which is absorbed by the chlorophyll in the chloroplasts of leaf cells. The waste product of the process is oxygen. Complete the following equation which summarizes the process of photosynthesis. Dash CO dash plus 6 dash gives us C dash plus 6 dash. Six molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water gives us 1 molecule of glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen. What gases will be taken in and given out by a green plant? A. In darkness. B. In bright light. In darkness, in low light intensity, a green plant will be taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. In bright sunlight, a green plant will be taking in carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen. Note, water vapor will also be escaping from the leaf, more so in sunlight. It is possible for a plant to be photosynthesizing and respiring at the same time? Is it possible for the plant to be photosynthesizing and respiring at the same time? A plant respires all the time during daylight. Photosynthesis and respiration will be going on at the same time. What carbohydrates does a plant make from glucose? B. Which of these carbohydrates is transported around the plants? C. Which carbohydrate is the main storage substance? Part A. What carbohydrates does the plant make from glucose? From glucose, a plant makes carbohydrates, sucrose, starch, and cellulose. B. Which of these carbohydrates is transported around the plant? Carbohydrate is transported around the plant as sucrose. Which carbohydrate is the main storage substance? The main storage carbohydrate in plants is starch. A. What additional substances does a plant need to make amino acids and proteins from glucose? B. Where do these substances come from? To make amino acids and proteins from glucose, a plant needs a supply of nitrate for nitrogen and sulfate for sulfur. These substances come from the soil. What ions must a plant obtain from the soil in order to make A. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, B. chlorophyll? To make ATP, adenosine triphosphate, a plant needs a supply of phosphate ions. To make chlorophyll, a plant needs a supply of magnesium ions. Name an artificial fertilizer or fertilizers which farmers can use to increase the supply of nitrate, phosphate, and potassium to their crops. NPK compound fertilizer contains nitrogen as nitrate, phosphorus as phosphate, and potassium in suitable proportions. Alternatively, ammonium nitrate may be used as a source of nitrogen and superphosphate as a source of phosphorus. A. How would you discharge the leaves of a potted plant? B. How would you check that the discharging had been effective? If a potted plant is kept in darkness for 48 hours, all starch in its leaves should have been converted to sugars and conducted out of the leaves. This is discharging. B. How would you check that the discharging had been effective? To check on the discharging, one of the leaves or part of a leaf should be tested with iodine to make sure the leaf is free from starch. In a school laboratory, what is usually regarded as evidence that photosynthesis has occurred in a plant? The accumulation of starch in a previously discharged leaf is accepted as evidence that photosynthesis has occurred. In designing an experiment to find out whether light is needed for photosynthesis, A. What is the principle of the design? B. What control would you use? A. What is the principle of the design? In an experiment to find out whether light is needed for photosynthesis, light should be excluded from a discharged leaf or part of the discharged leaf. After a few hours of sunlight, the covered leaf and unexposed leaf or supply of the partly covered leaf should be tested for starch. Only the parts which received light should go through with iodine. B. What control would you use? The control is the leaf or part of the leaf which has not been exposed to light and does not contain starch. Alternatively, if the exclusion of light from the leaf is thought to be the experiment, the part of the leaf exposed to light constitutes the control. A leaf is discharged from a tree and tested with iodine. The leaf turns dark blue. A. What does this result tell you? B. Why is this result not sufficient evidence to confirm that photosynthesis had taken place in the leaf? What does this result tell you? If a suitably prepared leaf goes blue with iodine, it tells you that starch is present. B. Why is this result not sufficient evidence to confirm that photosynthesis had taken place in the leaf? Unless the leaf is known to have been free from starch at the beginning of the experiment, you cannot conclude that photosynthesis has occurred. The starch might be permanently present in this leaf. Also, the absence of an experimental design, which is a control. There is no telling where the starch has come from. It might have been produced from sucrose, which was transported to the leaf from another part of the plant. Thank you very much for participating in photosynthesis and nutrition in plants, a self-assessment program. Please do like, share, and subscribe.